everybody! Today we're going to make a circle skirt. So the most frustrating part of making a circle skirt is having to do all that math to figure out what the dimensions are. So I found this app and all you have to do is put in inches or centimeters if you want a full, half, or quarter skirt and the length that you want, and you put in your waist measurement and it tells you the circle amount for the waistband so you don't have to do any math. It also shows you a little chart of how to cut it if you don't know. I cut mine a little bit differently, but it just makes it so easy for you to do it without having to do any of that frustrating math. So, the first measurement is the one that they tell you for the waistband, and you fold your fabric in half, so there's a fold line right where my tape measure is, and I'm marking all the way down what it told me to do. So, mine was 3 3/4. So I just make a line with chalk from the corner at 3 3/4. Your measurement may be different. Just do that all the way down. And then after you have that outline, from your chalk line, measure down how long you want your skirt to be. You can use the app to figure out a different way of doing this, but I think it's easiest to just choose the amount of length that you want. Just take a tape measure from your natural waistline, go down, and figure out how long you want your skirt to be, and then go from your chalk outline of where your waist is going to be and mark that length all the way around. And make sure you adjust the top of your tape measurer with the waistline. If you go from the center the whole time, it's going to dip in the front. So here's our chalk outline. Make sure you get them close enough together that you can efficiently cut your line by connecting the dots. So just cut out your waist. And remember, this is only the front half of our skirt right now. Since we have the fold right there, that will be our front and center, so we don't have a seam in the middle. And we just cut out the waistline, and now we are cutting out the length line. And just be patient. Don't cut too fast or it might be uneven. Go all the way around, connecting your dots. Now you can see as I pull it away that this is the front half of our circle skirt. You're only seeing a quarter of it, but because it is folded, it is our half. Now lay it down on the remainder of your fabric, and this way we are just going to trace the piece that we already cut out, and that way we don't have to make all of those measurements and chalk lines again. So just cut around the waistline first. And this piece of fabric is still 2 pieces because I've left it folded from before. We just don't have the fold line in the middle. So we are technically making 3 pieces of fabric, and be careful to not cut your fold line as you are cutting around your already existing piece, or else you won't have a seamless front because you will have to sew it together. It's okay if you go a little outward from your original piece. When you fold the bottoms for your bottom seam, you're never going to know the difference. And now we're going to make the waistband. So basically take your waist length, add a few inches because we are going to put a button in it and we need it to overlap. So my waist is 25 inches, so I did 28 inches in length for the waistband. And then whatever width you want your waistband to be, double that. And that will be your measurement for how thick you want to make it. And I went along the fold line, so I took my waist measurement that I just told you, the 25 plus 3, so 28, and did half of that. So we are at 14 inches right there. And you'll see once I cut it out how it will become your waistline. And you always want to remember to cut for seam allowances. So here are our pieces. Here is our waistband. Here is our back two sections, and I will show you how these make a half circle. And then the other piece I have is a full half of the circle. Those are technically quarters of the circle. But so put them together and then pin along the line. This way our seams will be hidden. And just go down that line all the way. Don't forget to seal your seam by going backward and forward at the beginning and end to make sure that you've knotted your seam. So see, it is now connected. Do the same thing connecting the full half of the piece to the other ones that we just made. Just make sure when you pin to pull it out and make sure the seams are all going in the same direction. On your first try, it can get a little confusing, which is why the pins come very in handy, because then you don't have to rip an entire seam if you've pinned it incorrectly. Now for our zipper, if you want a side zipper or back zipper is completely up to you. I am doing a back zipper, and normally you would just not sew all the way for your zipper, but I forgot to do that. Human error occurs. I just ripped my seam for how long my zipper is. Now take the flaps of your zipper and iron them down. It just makes it a little easier for them to stay flat and sew everything together. And now put your sewing machine on the widest setting for your crisscross and connect your two pieces. This makes sure that they are close enough and stable as you are putting your zipper on. You don't have to worry about the two flaps moving around. Next is attaching the waistband. So you fold in half the piece that we had previously made, and then we're going to seal the end seams by just doing a line down them and then turning it inside out. So now that seam is hidden. Now we're going to attach the waistband to the skirt. You're going to have the outside facing the outside. So this way, once the seam is put in place, it will be hidden on the inside. Now on the area of the waistband where the button and slit are going to be, it sticks out a little further than your actual waistband where it is connected to the skirt. So the way we're going to fix that is by turning it inside out again and just putting another line on your raw edge and then turning it inside out again. And it's kind of like the concept of how you would sew a pillow, and that way all of your raw edges are concealed inside of the waistband. And then just continue pinning it all the way on so that it matches up where the zipper will be. Do that on both sides. Now just sew your seam so that your waistband is connected. As you can see, it looks like it's all flush with one another, but when you fold it right side out, you have hidden seams and a beautiful waistband. So now just pin on your zipper to where we had previously ironed down. When you get to the end, lift up your presser foot, rotate 90 degrees, go forward a few stitches with the presser foot down, lift it up again, rotate 90 degrees again, and then finish your zipper. Now just take your seam ripper and rip that zigzag that we had put in to keep it all stable. And your zipper is finished being installed. Now we're going to hem the bottom of our skirt. So roll it twice so that all of the open edges are concealed, and then after you've pinned it, iron it down. This just makes sure that it stays stable a little easier as you are sewing the entire thing. Since there's so much open surface space on this, the more you can do to help yourself out to keep it from moving, the better off you'll be. Now we are going to put our button in. Just use your thread that you've used on everything else that matches. I used a clear one since it was yellow. You can use whatever color you feel suits your pattern best, and just make sure that it's big enough to be able to hold the waistband together. If you do a tiny little button, it's probably not going to hold. Now once you've put enough stitches into it, go to the back and knot it. You do that by putting your needle through your previous threads and then looping it and making a knot. Do it a couple times just to make sure it's all secure. Snip your thread. Now we're going to make the slit for the button to go through. Make sure you work slowly on this. You do not want a giant slit. So slowly go, making sure that it's not too big or too small. Then use your zigzag stitch to seal your edges so that you don't have fraying on your buttonhole. And now you can see we have a working button. Now just finish sealing your seams. Everything that's on the inside that's hidden, just do a zigzag stitch down it, and that way you don't have to worry about it fraying. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.